Oh, hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Hope everyone's had a fantastic Friday. Everyone's chilling, relaxing. Some international games currently are going on. England are playing at the moment as well against Albania at home, and they have scored. And who else if not Miles Lewis Skelly, of course. Yesterday, of course, as well, Spain playing against Netherlands in 90 plus minutes. Merino scored a goal as well that allowed them to draw 2-2. And of course, the big news from yesterday, Calafiori is injured once again. Got injured in the game for Italy. Fell on his own, by the way. Slipped, fell on his own. Nobody was around him, and it was quite scary hours for Arsenal in general. It doesn't matter if you rate Calafiori or not. You pretty much don't want to see a player get injured whatsoever at all. Let's be real, and he is injured as well. There are some talks about his injury, what it's gonna be, MCL, ACL. It looks like it's most likely gonna be an MCL injury. Luckily, let's be real. But definitely we're gonna talk about that as well. One of Arsenal's targets in Victor Gyokeres, who have been talking about quite a bit on this channel, is linked with Nottingham Forest. Edu is kind of making some moves there by the looks of things, so that will be interesting. Nwaneri is on the course of a new deal as well, and some other bits and bobs here or there we gonna discuss today. Yeah, big up Nathan, Skelly and Merino are scoring. Skelly scored just now, and Merino scored yesterday. Now, before we get into the Arsenal stuff, let's look at the results that are currently happening during games. Let's look at the results, what is going on. Any Arsenal players playing or what is happening here. Ghana are winning 5-0. And ironically enough, of course, Partey is starting. Thomas Partey is starting, and he hasn't scored or assisted. Besides that, what else is going on in these games? My national team is drawing against Andorra 0-0. It's genuinely a boring game to watch, but I'm still watching because it's my national team. We suck, but it is what it is. And on Monday, by the way, at Wembley, we play against England. So I'm already mentally preparing myself to lose this game about 6-0. But it is what it is at the end of the day. England are winning against Albania at halftime. Lewis Skelly scored from Bellingham's assist, 1-0. It is what it is. Finland are winning, Bosnia are winning against Romania, Gigovic scored, and besides that, nothing special otherwise is going on. Cuba versus Trinidad and Tobago, 1-1. Nothing unique, obviously, happening there. But of course, today we're gonna talk about some Arsenal stuff, of course, here or there. And of course, one of the big news is that yesterday, Merino scored in the last 10 minutes to basically draw the game against Netherlands. So that is one of the big news. Merino keeps scoring even for Spain. I hope Rice gets subbed for Henderson. The days when you actually want Henderson to play, lol. Big up Pepper, big up my guy. Big up Marlon as well, yeah. First call up, the youngest player to score as well. Scully's first call up, you know. Yeah, he has done some bits there, I'm not gonna lie. I think Fabrizio tweeted as well that he's one of the youngest, if not the youngest, to score. Where is it? Yeah, Miles Lewis Skelly becomes the youngest player in history to score on his senior debut for England as well. 18 years, 176 days old. And it is what it is, I guess. Don't chat shit. Genuinely. The days when it's happening, when England fans are hoping that Henderson comes on for Declan Rice, is genuinely peak. Because how Henderson is getting called up for England when you have some other players, even in Premier League, even in Championship, that are better than him, it's actually kind of nuts, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, Mikel Merino, he has scored a goal. Timber obviously didn't play due to illness and everything. Exactly, my number 9, I always believed in him. Always have believed in him. Best number 9 in Premier League. It's like having Ronaldo up front, pretty much. Let's be real. Yeah, Hot Dog got a red card. He's perfect for Arsenal. Yeah, definitely could say that. Something like that in terms of Arsenal as well. And of course, yesterday, these were the big news. Calafiori got injured. He slipped on the pitch. Nobody was around him. And he will go under. That was yesterday. He's gonna go on the tests. As you can see, he's limping as well away from the stadium. So that definitely wasn't a good look. But there are some hopes in this regard. There genuinely are some hopes. Obviously, as you can see here, his knee buckled again, which is quite poor. But Calafiori had to hobble off late. Body weight on the knee could be a concern of an MCL mainly. Depending on the grade, obviously. It's 1 to 6 weeks depending on the grade. And in the recent rumors, at least, in the recent rumor mill that surrounds Calafiori, apparently it's something like this. Is a defender suffered a collateral damage of the knee between first and second degree. Still waiting on the full report according to Di Marzio. And if confirmed, he's looking at 2 to 3 weeks unavailable, more or less a month pretty much. He dodged the bullet definitely with this. Definitely positive news. But if you look at Calafiori, by the way, if you look at Calafiori, he arrived at Arsenal this summer. This summer he arrived at Arsenal. And he's been injured already 4 times. 4 times he's been injured at Arsenal, right? And 3 of those injuries have been knee injuries. That genuinely doesn't look well. Does it look good? It doesn't look good at all, let's be real. Genuinely doesn't look good whatsoever. Yeah, he's always getting injured. It's like as if we didn't know that before, because if you look at his injury record, look, he's only 22, right? Only 22 years old, yet he has been injured. Look, he has 2 pages of injuries. Ligaments, hamstring muscle injury, and again hamstring muscle, unknowns, torn muscle. Then he has again a known injury, but then he has a calf. Then he has a knee muscle again, and another knee. At Arsenal, he's been injured 4 times, and 3 of those times it's been a knee injury. It's definitely not a good look in general. It genuinely is not a good look, especially since we have spent 45 million on him. Definitely not good. But it feels like it's Arsenal's thing. They genuinely sign injury-prone players left, right, and center. Happened with Tomiyasu. And if we don't sign injury-prone, we make them injury-prone. Like Jesus, of course, Tomiyasu, Emil Smith-Rowe. Let's be real, added to that extent, Zinchenko and everything. They just get injured all across the pitch all the time. I just end the season now and let him rehab, basically. Basically, because he's not gonna play against Real Madrid. That is pretty much a given. We're gonna rely on Miles Lewis Kelly or Tierney or someone. Let's be real. He's gonna come back, I would assume, late April. And it's nothing to play for in Premier League, so it's not that big of a loss. Yes, we are still in Champions League. You could say that it's a good thing. But ultimately, it's nothing special. In Champions League, I also don't have too much confidence in Arsenal that we're gonna go too far. Let's just put it that way. In some other news regarding Arsenal, well, a bit. Let's just say not fully, but a bit. Nottingham Forest are aiming to win the race to sign Victor Gyokeres and have made contact with the Sporting about the striker. Obviously, his release clause is 67 million in summer. It is actually kind of cheap, let's be real. And I was telling that from the beginning that if we don't sign him for the 97 right now, once his release clauses in summer dropped to 67, pretty much it was a guarantee that instead of 2 clubs or 1 club, aka Arsenal, that were in for him, they're gonna be about 6-7 more. And that pretty much now is the case. Barcelona, Man United, even Man City to some extent are looking at him, and now Nottingham Forest and other teams. So it's very interesting. Edu leaves, and now all of a sudden Nottingham Forest are aiming to sign Victor Gyokeres. Quite interesting. Because that now again raises the questions. Because let's be real, a lot of Arsenal fans have questions about the signings. Whether it's been Arsenal's, Arteta's push, whether it's been Edu's push. And not signing a striker, it looks like it's been a very weird decision, of course. And since Edu has left and he's gonna go to Nottingham Forest and oversee them as well, including Olympiacos and another team in Portugal, lots of questions could be answered. Whether it was Arteta, whether it was Edu, the reason why we didn't sign the player. So now that is the big question right now. That genuinely is the big question. And now, if you want to talk a bit more about Calafiori and everything, signing specifically, whether it's Arteta who was pushing for him or not, this is an article that Basically, Pepper DM'd me today. Pepper DM'd me with this article regarding Calafiori and signing of Calafiori, right? And it basically states that Calafiori gamble backfires as Mikel Arteta repeats Chelsea mistake. And there is all this about the injury and everything that he slipped and got all that jazz going for him. The big thing is that follows afterwards, basically. That follows afterwards. And here it is. Where is it? Continue reading. And now, if I find it in a second, you will see what I'm talking about. Here it is. Arteta rather than Edu were pushing to sign him. Arteta rather than Edu were pushing to sign him, which means Calafiori as well is an Edu signing. Arteta signing. That's what Calafiori is at Arsenal, which means Edu had no deal of business in signing him pretty much. Which now leads me to believe that none of the signings that we made last summer specifically, and that means Merino, Calafiori, and Raheem Sterling, none of them have been by Edu. All of them have been Mikel Arteta. Because when we went for Calafiori, there were disagreements in the hierarchy about the injury record and that he's not the right man, right? And it looks like Arteta, rather than sporting director Edu, was pushing on signing the Calafiori despite evident concerns over his physical condition, right? Same goes for Mikel Arteta. For Mikel Merino. Because also, when we went for Mikel Merino, there were talks that there were disagreements in the hierarchy that he's the right man for the job, that his physicality could be a plus. At the same time, he's not quick enough, he doesn't have the abilities. And again, Mikel Arteta put his foot down and said, I want the player. And of course, Raheem Sterling. Edu, after signing Sterling, came out and said that Raheem Sterling was never on the list of the players to be signed. He was just there, so we went for it. And Mikel Arteta has come out and openly said that he genuinely needed about 2 seconds in the interviews, in the talking and discussions with Sterling alone, just to convince him that he wants him here. So basically, last summer, where we had to sign a striker and we didn't, and all these screw-ups and with signing Calafiori, Merino, and even Raheem Sterling, is falling back to the fact that Mikel Arteta was the driving force in all of these 3 signings, which obviously shows just how much power obviously Mikel Arteta has at the club. And the fact that Edu left, I wouldn't be surprised that this summer was the reason why. Because none of the signings were Edu's. I 100% can guarantee you that Edu had other players in mind. Now Arteta gets the new contract as well. All of a sudden he gets more power, which again belittles Edu and his amount of power he has at Arsenal. So he thinks, well, if I get paid more and I can go to Nottingham Forest under Marianakis, why wouldn't I go? Right? So it is a very, very, very interesting one in terms of that, if we actually kind of talk about it. Tierney gonna carry Rodrigo at Celtics. I hope so. Yeah. Modric was cooking yesterday. Yeah, big up. I don't think so. Although the fact that I read yesterday that Barcelona, it looks like Barcelona are pulling out of the pursuit, let's just put it that way, of Nico Williams. It kind of leaves Arsenal in the driving position because, ironically enough, Arsenal and Barcelona are the only 2 teams that have been quite heavily discussed as the potential signing target and the potential club where Nico Williams could go. As much as I don't rate the player, as much as kinda don't want him here, it looks like currently Arsenal are in the driving seat. And based on how things are going, unless Andrea Berta steps in and says no, I kind of believe that he's gonna come to Arsenal, whether we like it or not. So I guess time will tell. Obviously, time will tell. And it's also not a big secret that Mikel Arteta has tried to replace that Martinelli on the left wing for quite some time. We were linked with, what's its face? We were linked with Mudryk. Obviously, that didn't work out for Chelsea, but you don't pay 100 million to bench a player and play behind Martinelli, so that means something is there. We now we have been linked with what's its face for the left wing. We've been linked with Coleman insane amount of time, insane amount of windows. Same goes now with Nico Williams, another player. So it looks like we gonna get a left wing very very soon, and it's just the question who. And at the moment it looks like that Merino will be the one, but Merino is an improvement in general over Trossard, over Martinelli. There's no questions about that. But I still don't believe that he is the answer. I don't believe he is the answer. Well, we need to do both. We need to defend and we need to attack. Yes, we have the best defense in Premier League. We haven't conceded more than 2 goals a game in like 400 plus days. This is the latest PR I have seen on social media yesterday and today. That Arsenal have not conceded more than 2 goals in over a year. It's actually kind of nuts. But hey, I'm not here to judge. I'm genuinely not here to judge, which seems kind of a bit of far-fetched, I think. But hey, it is what it is. Whatever keeps the top Gunners boat floating, right? Bayern can have Williams. Yeah, I hope so. I genuinely hope so. They can take him and together with Coman. We are not talking about anything. Make more pass in there. Not in this system. Whether I like Williams or not, ultimately it all depends on Arteta's system. And we have seen him kill Martinelli, literally, performance-wise, with the new systems. And there is no indication that signing Nico Williams will change that. It will be the same instances. At least the way I see it. So it is what it is. But Calafiori, yeah, it looks like it was Arteta-driven signing. And it's not looking good on the cards in that regard for Mikel Arteta and anyone else in general. Now, and the last one for like the serious talk regarding Arsenal is Ethan Nwaneri. Ethan Nwaneri, apparently Arsenal and Ethan Nwaneri are closing in a new long-term contract for Ethan. According to Mail Sport, the proposed deal is up to 5 years in length. Whether it's 3 years with 2-year option, 4 years with 1-year option, or something like that, obviously remains to be seen. And there are rumors that Nwaneri is gonna get about 60,000-70,000 a week. He's gonna get 10 times the salary increase. I think he's on like 8. Even if he's on 10, no, he's on 10. He was the highest paid youngster, so he will get a 6-7 times salary increase very very soon. I kind of get it to some extent. At the same time, I kind of don't want us to overpay for these instances. I kind of don't want us to overpay. Because our wage bill in general at Arsenal is a laughing stock. Like, genuinely, if we look at Arsenal's wage bill, right? Where is it? Arsenal's wage bill. It genuinely is like watching a scary movie. It is scary as hell. If I could find Arsenal really quickly. Premier League... salaries, Arsenal. It's actually a very disastrous and scary look. Now I'm gonna move the board so you can see it. I'm gonna move myself so I don't have to minimize the window. But just look at these wages. Genuinely look. What the hell is happening here? Look at these wages. It's actually quite insane when you come to think about it. It is actually insane. So it is actually kind of nuts. Semenyo, Lookman, Barcola, Gordon, I want one of those. Yeah, could be the case. Semenyo, Lookman, maybe. Gordon, I don't think so. And Barcola as well is not moving. Definitely not one of them. But yeah, look at Arsenal's wage bill. Are you noticing a certain trend in this regard? Look at the players we have. And look at the salaries we are paying these players. We have... how many? 3 players below 100 grand. Only 3 players below 100 grand. And if you want to add on top of that, by the way, Timber is on 90. He will be more on it eventually. Trossard is on 90. See what that happens. And Jakub Kivior is on 58 grand a week. 58 grand a week for what? Warming the bench? And the rest of them as well. Tomiyasu is on 100. Gabriel Magalhaes is on 100 grand a week. In which universe Gabriel Magalhaes should be receiving that amount of salary if you compare to players like Tomiyasu, Calafiori, Merino, Zinchenko, who basically get substantially bigger amount of salary? Where does that make sense? Gabriel Magalhaes arguably is our player of the season this year, and even last year to some extent. Yet he gets, out of all the main starters, obviously maybe not if you include Timber as well, the least amount of money. He gets the least amount of money of all the starters. That genuinely is absolutely pathetic and embarrassing. That is actually very, very embarrassing when you look at it. Our wage bill is an utter total mess. We basically, Edu came in and said that we had to basically sell a lot of players to make our wage bill look better, because we had mediocre players that are not good enough on insane salaries. And now if we look at this, we are in the same spot, just with much higher wages and much, much bigger issues. Let's be real, because then it was a bit lower wages. We could have at least tried and sold them. But now if we go in transfer market and try and sell certain players, let's be real, they are on such high wages that none of them will buy us from us. None of them will buy them from us. Because many times when you sell these players, right, mid-table Premier League sides, lower-end Premier League sides will come in for them, right? And now look, who we could sell, for example, let's just say Zinchenko, right? In Premier League, who's gonna take him for 150,000 a week? Who is gonna pay that? Nobody. Who's gonna pay about 60 grand a week for Kivior? Crystal Palace will? No, they won't. Let's be real. Same goes for Tomiyasu, 100 grand a week. Who's gonna pay that? How are we gonna sell Gabriel Jesus? 265,000 a week. Who is gonna take him for those amounts? He will have to take like 4 or 5 times salary decrease, even if anyone wants to sign him. Let's be real. And that is a big, big issue. A very big issue if you ask me. Because if we even look, let's just say, Manchester City, since we are fighting against them many times, let's compare the salaries to them, right? And look, especially, yes, you can take Haaland, Premier League winner and everything, yes. De Bruyne, also deserved. Silva, Grealish. Marmoush is the odd one out, obviously, so far. But pretty much every single player who's on these amount of wages, they deserve it. Treble winners, Centurions, and all that stuff, right? But now look at this lower side of the salary scale at Man City, for example. Savio is on 40,000 a week. Only 40,000 a week. Vitor Reis, only 40,000 a week. Scott Carson is generally robbing a living, doing nothing and getting 30 grand. But hey, Rico Lewis, 25,000 a week. Kusanov, the signing they just made, 20,000 a week. James McAtee, 50,000 a week. McFlaren, 15. Echeverry, 15. Simpson, 6 million. And you know what is the best thing about this? If they decide to sell any of these players, even Doku, he's on 50, Oscar Bob on 50, Nico Gonzalez on 60. If they decide to sell any of these players, they have no issues. Because, let's be real, most of the Premier League teams, the lower end, right, and mid-table teams, easily can afford to pay 40, 30, 20, 25 grand a week for certain players. Plus, since they are not on that high wages, Man City can easily go and sell certain players for about 25 million, 30 million. You probably have never heard of a certain player and you wonder, how does he go for 30, 40 million? Because they don't have these insane salaries, let's be real. Arsenal's instance, that is pretty much impossible if you ask me. Because the salaries we have, There is no chance in hell that any Premier League team is gonna try and sign Kivior and put him on like 70 grand a week. No chance someone is gonna try and sign Zinchenko in Premier League and put him on like 160 to lure him away. It's never gonna happen. It is actually kind of embarrassing. Genuinely, utterly embarrassing. That is very, very scary hours in terms of Arsenal, because we can look this even season-wise. This is this season, right? This season, look at the salaries. 150, 30s, over 100 grand pretty much everyone. Now let's look at 1920 season, when Mikel Arteta inherited a toxic and negative squad, which apparently Edu had to fix. Are you noticing something here? Aubameyang 250. Okay, cool. Lacazette 180. Dani Ceballos 120. He was on loan. Bellerin on 110. David Luiz on 100. Pepe on 100. Kolasinac on 100. Leno 100. Xhaka 100. And pretty much every single one is below that. And we had a structure so we can actually sell. Marie on 85. That was nuts, but Suarez 75. But look, Torreira, Chambers, Guendouzi, Maitland-Niles, Gabriel Martinelli was on 30 at the time only. Holding, Joe Willock, Emi Martinez, Reece Nelson, Edin Ketia. If we wanted to sell any of those players at that time, it was no problem. It genuinely was no problem, because mid-table Premier League team wants Guendouzi. 45, 50,000 a week, they can afford that. They can easily pay him that, and there would be no issues in selling him. But Arsenal decided to get rid of him. Same goes for Maitland-Niles. Same goes for Rob Holding and Joe Willock. 20 grand a week. It's nothing. Let's be real, it's peanuts. Especially since he went to Newcastle. And now if you look at the Arsenal's current one we just looked at, in which universe Arsenal can basically easily sell any of these players? It makes no sense. There is no chance in hell Arsenal will do that. And look at this as well. Sorry, wrong season. 1920 season. 1920 season, right, for Arsenal. Average weekly salary, 81,500 a week. Average weekly salary, 81.5, right? Let's move forward to this season. 5 years later, the average salary has grown by 40,000. 40 bloody thousand. 127 now. That is on average. That is genuinely on average. And that is utterly, utterly embarrassing when you come to think of it. Because we are, again, putting mediocre players on insane amount of wages. We have basically championship, mid-table, Premier League level players on world-class level salaries. Which proper club does that? Like, seriously, which proper club does that? Because that's the only way how we can attract players recent times. Jesus was on like 90 grand when he was at City. We signed him, we instantly put him on 245, 3 times the increase almost. Zinchenko was on like 30, 40 grand. We pay him 150 now, 4 times the increase. Where does it make sense? Calafiori was on about 30 grand, now he's on 120. Merino was on 50, he's on now 120. That's the only way we can lure players here. And we got promised we're gonna sign these world-class talented players when we get Champions League. And now we are in Champions League, and we signed better players than we were in Europa League. Where does that make any sense? What kind of buffoons do we have working at the hierarchy who put them on these wages? And what the hell is Arteta doing, wanting these players? Because he just is signing bodies, he's signing athletes, he's not signing proper footballers. And that is ruining the team day by day, pretty much. Let's be real, season by season. Bring me someone who can change a game in a minute, who can destroy defenders, dribble, score, assist, who can strike fear in defenders. Exactly. Arsenal haven't had that player since Alexis Sanchez or Aubameyang. We haven't had a player who basically, when we sign them, makes us jump out of our seats from the excitement. When he gets the ball, you know that he's going to produce magic instantly. He's going to carry us over the line by himself when the rest of the team is basically in the hiding. We don't have that. We haven't had that for about, 8 years now? Well, not 8, that's over-exaggerating. We haven't had that for like 7 years now. Since Arteta took over, basically. How ironic is that, isn't it? We need that. We desperately need that in the team. It all comes from mentality, and we don't have mentality at this club whatsoever. It's actually embarrassing how this club is run. It's painful as well, let's be real. Bring me a 10 who can do what Bruno does for Man United, a lone 6 who has muscle, who can destroy wingers. Exactly. Exactly. And Arsenal have had multiple chances to do this. We wanted to sign Conte. Remember the days? We signed Lucas Torreira. That has gone well, wasn't it? That really, really, really went well. And it's been over the times, it's always like that. We wanted to sign Isak, we signed Nketiah, a new deal, 100 grand a week. And it's a never-ending circle. We want one player, we get another. We want one player, we get different one. And it's always like that. We get linked with someone and we sign like a... let's just say we need a right back, right? We have a list of 5 players. And what we do, we instantly go for the worst choice, for the 5th choice. We never go for the first choice or the second choice. We instantly go for the 5th choice. Because that's the safe option. Nobody's going to go for him, which means there's an easier way to get him. So, I don't know. Our club is really run ass backwards, and it's genuinely grinding my gears, and it's really pissing me off day by day. Genuinely day by day. Oh, we scored! Come on. Who scored? Who scored for us? Dario Shit scored. Really? Did he score? Come on. Big up, my guys. Big up. Big up, my guys. Who scored for Latvia? Come on. Yes, Dario Shit scored. Big up, Dario. Dario, my guy. 1-0. 1-0. That is fan-freaking-tastic. Big up to them. Big up to them. Almeria are losing to Burgos. That's kind of annoying. I really like Almeria. Wish I could watch this game. I think I have it on TV. I'm just live. Usually I'm not live. I'm ending my stream here, but we're gonna go for about 20 minutes still. But yeah, Almeria. Come on, guys. Do some job. What else is happening? Ecuador versus Venezuela. That's an interesting game. Cuba versus Trinidad and Tobago. 1-1 at halftime. What else is here? Atletico Bilbao versus Barcelona B. B teams are fighting here. Interesting. Very interesting. Very equal stats. Very equal stats. Dude, those Barcelona B La Masia players are genuinely just different gravy, aren't they? Anyhow, England under 21s are losing to France under 21s. This is interesting. Ekitike has scored 2 goals for under 21s for France. Right? And Cherki has assisted in 2 of the 3 goals. For England, McAtee has scored. Harvey Elliott has scored from McAtee's assist. Filongi has done that. Are there any Arsenal players? Delap is up top. Any Arsenal players? Nwaneri is on the bench. Ethan Nwaneri is a substitute on the bench for England under 21 team. Unfortunately. Unfortunately, in this game he is not playing. What? England scored? England scored? No, it's only 1-0. Still 1-0. What do you mean Bellingham? Bellingham hasn't even scored for under 23s. McAtee, Bellingham. Is Job even playing? Wharton is playing. What's its face? Nathan wants Wharton at Arsenal, by the way. Bellingham. He's not even on the bench. He's not even playing for them, ironically enough. Interesting. Very interesting, the squad for England under 21s. I'm not gonna lie. Very, very interesting squad. Anyhow. Let's see. Is there anything new regarding Arsenal? Doesn't look that way. Doesn't look like there's anything new regarding Arsenal. Yeah, nothing in terms of that. No, it's 1-0. It's 1-0 England. 1-0 England. Skelly scored from Bellingham's assist, and that's it. No Bellingham. Come on, man. Anything else regarding Arsenal? Any news? Anything? Oh, yeah. For all the Nico Williams fanboys, basically this is. For all the ones that want him really here. I'm not one of them. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not one of them. Nico Williams will not join Barcelona unless he's guaranteed a starting role. Like, let's be real. Where will he start? Because Rafinha starts on the left. Yamal starts on the right. It's pretty much a guarantee. So Nico Williams is genuinely not gonna play. He won't start, which means there's a big possibility that Barcelona are not acquiring him. They're not gonna sign him, ironically enough. So, hey, I guess it is what it is at the end of the day, but yeah, it's looking like he could be coming to Arsenal. Not a big fan, but hey, it is what it is, I guess, at the end of the day. It really is what it is. Although England are playing boring football. Oh, bloody hell. This will be fun on Monday. We played them on Monday. We play England on Monday. That's gonna be hell. But hey, it is what it is. This is still one of the biggest news for the day, by the way. Nottingham Forest are aiming to win the race to sign Victor Gyokeres. How is that even a thing? Why is Iñaki Williams trending? Ah, it's for Ghana. How are Ghana doing, by the way? Wait, let's check this. Ghana won 5-0. Ghana are winning. He's on the bench. Nwaneri is on the bench. On the bench for under 21s. Harvey Elliott is playing right wing, and Harvey Elliott has scored for England. England are losing 3-2. Second half just begun against France under 21s. Iñaki Williams scored a goal. That's what it is. Iñaki Williams scored a goal. Partey played 83 minutes. He got subbed off in 83rd minute. Partey played nearly full game. Chad did absolutely nothing. Mad thing. Nigeria won 2-0. Osimhen scored 2 goals. Lukman Chukwueze assisted. Well, bring me Osimhen to Arsenal. Come on. Big Osimhen to Arsenal. Bring me them. Bring me him to Arsenal. Bring me to Arsenal him. Well, English. Bring Osimhen to Arsenal. 2 goals. Come on. Get him to Arsenal. Yeah, and it is. Exactly. He can find. That's a weird one. That's a nuts one. But hey, it is what it is. Ivory Coast won 1-0. Gassan scored from Alaire's assist. No Pepe. Interesting. No Pepe. Pepe was on the bench and didn't come on. That is kind of nuts. Yeah, exactly. Goal machine Osimhen. He scored 2 for Nigeria. Nigeria won 2-0. Why is he not at Arsenal yet? Wait, Algeria won 3-1. Did Mahrez score? No, he didn't. He didn't even assist. Did he even play? Yeah, Mahrez played. Unfortunately, didn't do anything too much. At least stats-wise. Egypt are playing against Ethiopia. Huh. Nobody cares. Nobody literally cares, I guess. Anyways, no news regarding international football. Still 1-0 England. Latvia are winning 1-0. Big up to my guys. Malta are losing to Finland. Bosnia are winning 1-0. Cuba drawing still against Trinidad. Venezuela still 0-0. And that's about it. Nothing new. Which is very boring. Very boring international games. And yeah, France under 21s are playing England under 21s. And it's 53rd minute. And Nwaneri is holding bench. That is the latest news regarding Arsenal. I wonder, will he play? Job Bellingham is also on the bench for under 21s as well, so he's not playing. So it will be very interesting to see what substitutions do they make. Will they bring on Nwaneri? That is the big one. That is the big question right here. Will they bring on Nwaneri? I hope so, but hey, you never, ever, ever know. Obviously, at the end of the day, you never ever know. Any other news regarding Arsenal? Is there anything special regarding Arsenal? Arsenal wonderkid Matt Lewis-Skelly breaks Marcus Rashford's England record. Yes, the youngest player to score. Arsenal is close to tying down star youngster to a 5-year deal. That is Nwaneri, who we talked about. Arsenal set to make an offer to 28-year-old Premier League Bundesliga winner. Who is that? 28-year-old Premier League and Bundesliga winner. Oh, but it's Leroy Sané. I don't want Sané at Arsenal, man. Why we are linked with him still? Is it only because Mikel Arteta wanted him and he has coached him? I don't want Sané. The question is who will play atop against Madrid. It can't be Merino. It's Madrid. Well, it will be Merino because we have nobody else. Let's be real. We have nobody else. And we need a basically an athlete in the at striker position to fight against Rudiger and Asensio. They are two very physical defenders, so we need someone physical up top as well. So it looks like it's most likely gonna be him. What else is there? Mateusz Cunha sent one word message by Arsenal star. I mean, transfer links, nobody cares. Arsenal targeting Liverpool winger as Reds eye questionable Virgil van Dijk replacement. Arsenal targeting Liverpool winger. What the hell is this about? What the hell is actually this about?
Dominic Szoboszlai has quickly become...
Shut up. According to Fikayas, the fish eyes, the yellow page story. The yellow page story strikes again. But they're saying Arsenal have made Diaz, one of their targets for the summer following a barrage of injury woes this season. Luis Diaz to Arsenal, who says no? Why we are linked with Diaz? This is so random and out of nowhere. Why is this a thing? Why is this a thing today? Like, it makes no sense for me. Olise is not moving. It really still pisses me off we didn't sign Olise in the summer. 45 million? Come on, man. We should have been all over that. Merino up top. Real will destroy. Just play Nelly up top. We play there. Yeah, it could be the case, but how many times have you seen Mikel Arteta play Martinelli as a striker? Arteta is very pragmatic, very predictable. He usually does the things that have worked before. And Merino scored twice against Leicester. He scored against United. What is it, United? No, who he just played against and we won? I forgot. Genuinely forgot. Chelsea. He scored against Chelsea. And he just scored for Spain as well. So most likely he's gonna play up top as well for against Real Madrid. Most likely. Or even play Sterling there. I don't want to see Nelly, Trossard, Merino, Chio against Madrid. You know him, but dude, we are way past point embarrassing. There is nothing to be embarrassed about. Just accept it and move on to next season and pray that in summer we do the right job. This has been embarrassing since we signed Kai Havertz. We signed a number 8 and we play him as a striker. We sign a number 8 or the number 6 and play him as a striker. Like, it makes no sense. Arsenal make no sense. So, might as well accept it. We are a bit of a joke and banter thing going on in that regard. What else is here? What else is here? Arsenal target explosive Martinelli and Trossard upgrade in 25 million. Dynamo opinion. Accept all. Who is that? According to recent reports from Spain, Arsenal are one of the several teams interested in signing Feyenoord exciting Paixão. That is interesting. That is very interesting. We are all of a sudden interested in Paixão. He scored a hat-trick and got 2 assists before the international break as well. Would you take Paixão at Arsenal? Would you take Paixão? Madrid front 3, Rodrigo, Vini, Mbappe, Asmani, Trossard. Yeah, that is the case. That genuinely is the case and that will be the case. Make amends with it already. Paixão. Very interesting. This is a very interesting one, Paixão. How is he... Like, I know I hate to look at stats and everything, but that's pretty much everything I can go off. Solely because I don't watch Eredivisie. I don't care about Eredivisie, let's be real. So, we're gonna look at this. Igor Paixão. 25 games, 9 goals, 11 assists. Starts every single game. So that is kind of interesting one. Can play left wing and right wing. Predominantly plays left wing. Signed him 3 seasons ago for 4.5 million from Coritiba. Sorry. So, Paixão. Would you take Paixão at Arsenal? Would that be a signing that would get you excited? His injury record also isn't too bad. He has played 3 seasons in Europe and he's been injured in 2 of them, and for a very small amount of time as well. He wasn't injured in Brazil when he was playing there whatsoever. So very, very interesting in that regard. Very interesting if you ask me. Paixão. You know, when I hear Paixão, I kind of sometimes look at it, I think about it. Would he work here or not? But for £25 million, it's actually a very decent deal, if you ask me. It would be a very decent deal, if you ask me. What else is here? What else is here? Arsenal loanee withdraws from international with a fresh injury. Arsenal loanee. Who is that? Don't be Lokonga. It's Nuno Tavares. Oh, bloody hell. Nuno Tavares has been forced out of the March international break, seemingly picking up a new injury at Lazio. Nuno Tavares is injured again. This is not great, is it? Arsenal loan left-back Nuno Tavares was then in Portugal's squad for international break, but the defender had to pull out due to injury. Well, this is going fine, isn't it? This is going fine. Ahead of Thursday game between Portugal and Denmark, the Portuguese national team released a statement. Nuno Tavares has been declared unfit by the Health and Performance Unit of the Nations League quarterfinals. The defender is suffering from problems that will prevent him from recovering in time for the match against Denmark. Tavares has returned to Lazio, where he will continue his recovery process. Another player that is injured, but whether you like it or not, I guess Lazio are actually gonna sign him, so there is still some hope in that regard. This is serious. We are facing the kings of UCL. We don't have anyone else. Deal with it. Deal with it. Arteta has destroyed this. After 800 million, he still doesn't have a striker and proper backups. Arteta has made this mess, and let's see if he can coach himself out of it at the end of the day. Arsenal are actively in talks with the agent of key attacking target. If that is someone... Ooh, this is a weird one. Arsenal are actively engaging in talks with the agent of the ex-player pro. Jonathan David. Huh. Jonathan David. Arsenal are engaging in talks over Jonathan David. Obviously, his contract runs out at the end of the season, so he would be available on free. According to Letter Sport, Arsenal is serious about signing David and has been in constant discussions with his agent to determine what is required to complete the deal. So it looks like Arsenal are actually exploring some options. Actually, it's for a change. That is a nice thing. Obviously, a bit too late, but hey, for next season, it's like Patrice Evra said. It's like Netflix, always next season. Arsenal favourite for Nico Williams. Premier League clubs racing for interest in 21 GA attacker. Amid Arsenal, Liverpool, Newcastle links. That is Paixão, if I'm not mistaken. Another gunner down. Jurriën Timber becomes the latest star. Yeah, Timber is also still with the illness, and we'll see how that will go long term. Madrid, please. They won't. They genuinely won't have any mercy. They will not, and they will not even try to have mercy against us. Nwaneri forced to hand in homework 24 hours after Arsenal's debut, lol. Arsenal owner Stan Kroenke gets new competition as 4.7 billion deal nears. What the hell is this about? Oh, it's football.london, so take this with some pinch of salt. But latest news and gossip as the deal on the verge of completion in the United States could hand further competition to Arsenal owner Stan Kroenke. Interesting. Arsenal owner Stan Kroenke looks set to face increased competition back in his homeland after multi-billion-dollar deal was agreed. Don't tell me this is something about Celtics being purchased, because that, let's be real, Celtics just won the NBA and they are going for a back-to-back titles. The NBA world has recently seen the news that Boston Celtics have been subject to a multi-billion deal takeover. Reports have stated that the group led by businessman William Kishholm has agreed $6.1 billion, 4.7 billion pound takeover for the Celtics. Oh, bloody hell. Why these things are regarding Arsenal? It doesn't affect Arsenal in any way unless they pump more money out of us and gives it more to Boston Celtics. Although Celtics for next season, the salary cap for Celtics is actually nuts. They will have to trade some players or something next season. Injury blow for Calafiori, nothing new on that. Arsenal have blown on key position to fix it, and they will win the Premier League. The 148 million sounds genuinely like the number 8 issue. It's not even striker. Yeah, see, Arsenal have wasted huge money on midfield role. We have signed 2 8s cumulatively for 148 million. And not 2 3 8s. 148 million, and our midfield is still an issue. Is still an issue, by the way. That's how bad it is. That's how bad actually it is. That is not a good thing whatsoever. I'm not gonna lie. Definitely not a good thing. I would Anthony right now. He's born. Anthony at Real Betis is actually kind of nuts. He's balling there like no tomorrow. Betis are doing fantastically well. The new manager as well is doing fantastically well. Isco feels like he has hit the form when from the olden days, from like 2012 when he was at Malaga. It's actually quite amazing to watch. So obviously time only will tell how it's gonna go. Also whether they're gonna sign him full time or not. But yeah, it's very interesting to see how players leave Man United and they all of a sudden play good. But Arsenal are now in position to banter about that, by the way, because pretty much every single player that leaves Arsenal goes on and wins trophies. So we are not better at that instance as well. So I guess it is what it is. But yeah, I think on that note, I'm gonna end today's stream. It's been a bit shorter stream than usual, but I'm still sick and I genuinely don't feel up to it. I'm kind of feeling under the weather more than I have felt in the last few days. So for today, I'm gonna head out. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, smash the like button, destroy it, caress it, hammer it, all that stuff. Subscribe if you're new around here. Leave your comments down below. Have a nice evening, have a nice week, and take care, and see you very, very soon.